Hi,
Hey,
Siddharth. How are you doing? Thank you for joining us all the way from Goa, of course. Is is the
yeah,
network fine? Can you hear me?
fine, yeah. Can everyone hear us? Yeah, I think so.
I think so. I think we're
It's fine. No?
good to go. Yeah, I think we're good to
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
So great. I'm so excited to talk to you about navigating social media as an artist. I think that's a topic a lot of people resonate with, especially your
Yeah,
followers, our followers. And I had a whole list of questions for you because you've
right.
spoken about how social media has been instrumental in making your art practice a success.
Right.
So can you talk to me about that?
So I feel it's quite important to document your work. And in this day and age where social media is so consumed, especially after the lockdown, there's almost been like an 80% hike with viewership on social media. I think it's the right place to be at, especially because I feel there's there's so many people who want to learn things out of social media, and it's a great
Right.
place to learn many things, take inspiration from so many things. Which is why I started in the lockdown, where most of us were in our houses, kind of keeping busy with different chores and trying to learn new things. And I started documenting my work just with a simple camera, like a phone camera, and putting it on my social media, sharing it. And slowly things started like clicking. There were inquiries coming in. People were recreating my works. It also was a source of inspiration for others, where they also tried to create something completely new, use household materials to create art, repurposing different things. So that's how it started. And I think everyone kind of found, some viewers or found people who were interested in what they were doing. So one of them was me, and I also started experimenting with different processes. Later in this live, I'm going to be showing you some of the materials that I used in the lockdown, so we make it more interactive. And yeah, stay tuned for that, guys.
So how do you strike a balance between creating content and creating art? Because you also professionally shoot a lot of your content,
Yeah.
the videos that you post. So
Yeah.
what are your how do you strike that balance?
I am kind of juggling between two lives here, but I feel that when it comes to social media and influencing, I think I've always loved creating. So whether it's creating videos, whether it's creating pieces of furniture, whether it's creating art, whether it's creating anything, like I love creating in general. So I think it's one and the same for me, creating anything. And even if you see my videos, they're super creative. And now I've kind of stitched the two worlds together by, say, I'm promoting a shirt on my influencing page. I'm probably going to be wearing that shirt while I paint in my studio. So I kind of give it that, thing where I'm actually using the shirt while in my day-to-day life. So I'll probably talk about that shirt as a comfortable shirt while painting, instead of
Right.
just making a fashion video out of it. So I kind of also, there's quite a few sustainable brands I've been working at, because even my work is about repurposing materials. So a lot of the brands I've partnered with are sustainable. Some of them are, but then yeah, I think that's how I've been like working it out. I like creating things, and that's what kind of pushes me and makes me happy.
And let's talk about the commercial side of things. You and I were talking about being tied exclusively to a gallery, and your thoughts
Yeah.
on that. So do you want to share some of those here as well?
I feel, for me, I have displayed my works with a few galleries, but I've never really signed contracts where I'm exclusive to one gallery.
Right.
Nothing wrong in that. I think it's great that galleries can push you and really market you. But when it comes to social media, I think we have an absolutely free tool that's available to us that we have to just make use of. Where if we document our work right, if we photograph it right, take videos of it while creating it, get the audience to understand and engage with your work, you can get your clients as long as you put in that effort to put it out there. and you never know. It started off with one order maybe in a whole month. Today maybe I get about 10 orders a day, but that's basically inquiries, and then some of them kind of materialize into sales. But every day there's at least about 10 to 15 people connecting and asking me about my art or sending me a picture of their living room, telling me they want something there. So there's always a lot. It's like an online brochure, right? Yeah. And I think with the gallery, I feel that sometimes, as I spoke to you before, sometimes the rent of the gallery is so much that in order to make up for the rent, you hike the price of the artist.
Right.
And then the price is just so high that you can't really, like, most people cannot afford the work. So here you kind of cut that off, you cut the middleman off, and I think you can directly sell to clients through social. Yeah.
And what about art consultants? Because there are a lot of independent art consultants who work with designers, architects to commission work as well. So have you worked with consultants as well?
Consultants, interior designers. So there have been like quite a few I've worked with. And yeah, it's mostly specific projects that I do. I do commission-based works, and for a specific place. And usually it's been like that, or whatever I have, in my storage and whatever I've already created. So maybe I'll kind of take you around the room.
Yeah, I'd love to see.
All right, guys. So I'm going to be taking you around my living room. There's quite a lot of interesting stuff. I'm going to be showing you some of the materials I've made works with. So this is all cement. This is actually when one of the part of our art gallery, which is Museum of Goa, had like a construction site, and there was a lot of cement pieces with wood chips in there. So these are works that I've created during that time. You'll see these about 10 works. They're all done with cement, and if you see very closely, there's a lot of lines there. Yeah, a lot of texture. All of them are mostly done within about 20 minutes. Because that's the time it takes for cement to dry. And then, of course, I've worked on it like over hours with all the grays and all the acrylics. But they're works that I've done really quickly. This is another work. I have a video of it available. This was in the lockdown. This is one of my first works that I did during the lockdown, where I was getting many PR kits and Amazon parcels. So this is all corrugated cardboard that I have. So there's a bunch of corrugated cardboard, and if I go backwards, maybe you can have a look at the whole thing. And all these dots, and all these dots you see here are actually fireworks, where if you see there's holes in it. So I've burnt fireworks in order to create like these textures and like a rugged, rustic effect. So I love playing with fire in general, so that's that. This is a work with sand and sawdust on a wooden base. But then again, I've burned all this on top. So you can see all the fumes that I've created, all these burned, like the paint has burned, and there's a lot of things that have like happened here. So yeah, it's a lot of experimenting. If we go here, this work has been done with tea and orzo. So these are a series of works I've done where basically there's said to be a voyage done by Marco Polo in the 1500s, and he took tea and pasta, like the recipe of making noodles from China, to Italy, and that's how Italy has its pasta today. So the recipe was from China. So this is just like a myth, or I don't know whether it's real, but I read it somewhere, and I thought, why not use these two materials that he carried in his boat? And that's why I did these works. These are most of my works that are anyway, like, again, sand, sawdust. There's a bit of like water-based paints here. This is quite an interesting work. Just pick it up. Yeah, this is quite interesting. This work basically is done with insect wings. During the monsoons, there's a lot of
I'm cringing a bit over here.
Yeah, so these insects that kind of stick to light bulbs and then die, and all their wings are splattered around the floor. So I just collected these wings like of dead insects, and then I've worked around it. And this was actually done for the Serendipity Art Festival in Goa. So this was one of the works that were chosen for the show. I think I did it about 4 years ago. So I displayed it at the Serendipity Art Festival, and I called it Sisyphus, And then I had another video art project along with these works, where basically these ants go into my teacup. It was just like conceptual work. Yeah. Then this was done during Diwali, where these are actually diya, the cotton wicks in the diya.
Right.
Yeah. So this is done during Diwali. So I think it's just about exploring a lot of materials that I come across on a day-to-day basis. It's never one material. It's just exploring a lot of materials. Like I'm going to show you one more work. I made tables as well. So these are my tables that I made. It's a little dirty, but yeah, this is a table I made with rock. Then this work here, one sec. This work here is done with fireworks, where I've just burnt paper. There's no paint involved. It's just me burning it. You know the tiny fireworks you get, which are children's sparklers? The strings.
The hand bombs. The little
not the hand bombs. The strings that children can just hold.
Right,
and then they just burn.
Yeah,
the ropes. So that is done with this, and then I'm not sure if you can see here, but there's like an outline of a man, and then his tie is actually like scratched out with a needle there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I've scratched out the paper and a lot of texture again. Then we move on. Yeah, I have a whole setup here so that the lighting is good. So this is all done with copper. I just picked up the work from upstairs and got it down. This is all done with copper, where I've actually hammered the copper, and then I have added different patina to it. Now, patina is the process of coloring copper permanently with different chemicals. So it basically oxidizes with the heat, it changes color. This is with different salts, vinegar, ammonia, and different processes that I use to get different colors. The copper comes as almost as like a mirrored finished copper, and then I give it all these textures. So it's done with various processes.
I think you did a video on this as well. Did you fire up the patina? Is that how you did it? If I remember correctly.
I mean, different colors have like a different process. This is copper panels that have been put into like a gas chamber with ammonia fumes and vinegar and salt, and then this happens to it. So I did a course at Chelsea College of Art for 4 years, and during that time I mostly used to just experiment with copper because I loved the metal workshop there. And then that's when I kind of discovered my love for copper and all the colors that I could do with it. These are, of course, like some of my pieces that I really like. Usually when I really like a piece, I put them up here, enjoy them for a few months, and then put them into the museum. So this is actually done with red oxide that is found in most of the Goan houses. You can see two benches outside. We call them balcons. And this is red oxide and yellow oxide and turmeric. So there's three kinds of materials used here. And then I've just smeared it around my hand. And this is one of them. This is a work, again, with sand and sawdust. It's like a minimal piece with a lot of scratching with my nails. If you can see all the textures here. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's most of the work. Whatever I could fit into this room.
Into the room. No, I was going to ask you what your Goan influences are, and clearly the red oxide and a lot of the materials you've used that sort of influenced your recent pieces as well.
Yeah, I mean, I love to play with different pigments. So red oxide is one of them. Red oxide is used to, the benches that we have outside the Goan houses, those are all colored with red oxide. I use that. Yellow oxide. This one also had a bit of turmeric. It really depends what I find. It's never that I really go and buy this from the market or something. It's usually stuff I just find in my studio. That's because outside, like, there's a basketball court in garage, and where there's a bench that's red there, and then one of the guys who came was polishing it. So I just used some of his because it was in lockdown, and then I made my work. So it's usually just things I find around in the studio. I have the craziest of materials I've used. There was a point where for 1 year I've just collected flip-flops from the beach. So every time I went to the beach, I would just fill my scooter or my car with flip-flops and then cut them open and then make like a work. So that was one of my first series using different materials. And now it's always been changing. Yeah.
Flip-flops. So that's how much people have left on the beach.
Yeah, I mean, most here on daily basis where, tourists are going to the sea and then the high tide comes and then just takes their slippers away. So I'm sure many of them are, just, yeah.
And who have been some of your greatest inspirational artists or, influences to your, career?
For me, I think one of the artists is Anselm Kiefer. He uses a lot of material in his work when it comes to material and scale. So he creates works that are meters by 10 meters, massive scale. So I like his works. Sean Scully, when it comes to colors. Mark Rothko, when it comes to minimalism and there's various. There's Alberto Buri, who's an Italian artist who cuts canvas. Just a slice in the canvas.
Just rips it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lucio Fontana. There's many names I can go on and on about, but I think people who just explore like a third dimension to painting. I mean, it's not just like a flat work, but sometimes it has texture, or it's cut, or the canvas is like stretched in a different way. Or that's what kind of inspires me, I think. And yeah.
The piece you showed me with the monsoon flies which come in and shed their wings. Yeah. I don't know. Have you seen this Damien Hirst piece where he's got flies? I remember. No, not butterflies. So I remember seeing it, and I'm wondering what this black patch was. It's massive. It's at the Prada Foundation, and 10 feet by 10 feet, huge thing, and it's just shades of black. And then I went close, and I realized it is entirely filled with flies.
Oh wow!
Dead flies. The whole thing was filled with dead flies. So that kind of reminded me a little bit of that, and you cringe a little bit when you see that. You're just taken aback because you don't expect that.
Yeah. During my year, while I was studying in London, I actually created a work with different hair. So I would actually go to different barbers, collect hair. Actually look for textured hair, like colored hair, and then create works with, various colors. Yeah.
So what would be your secret sauce? And I'm going to wrap up this live on that. What would be your secret sauce, since we're talking about social media? For your Instagram handle or for young artist student, what would be your advice or that thing that has worked for you?
I feel documenting your work is super important. Doing it in a professional way as much as possible. You can always start off with your phone, but try and borrow a camera. Try and click the work with a nice white neat background. Try and put it within a space that you make and feel nice, because of the work. And I think it's also, if your process is important, make sure to put that out. For me, it's very important to show my process of creating the work, where I do everything with my hand. There's no paintbrushes, nothing for the textures, everything with my hand. So I think putting yourself out there and just being true to your own self and being true to your own style. And I think everyone is unique. Every style is unique, and that's what you have to use and push out. Yeah.
Amazing. So that is your recipe to your Instagram success. Thank you so much, Siddharth, for talking to us and showing us your living room. I know we want to see your studio, but you've managed to get a lot of pieces in to show us today, and all the crazy material you've been experimenting with as well.
Yeah. It was, I think it's been a very nice live, and it was great talking to you, and I love what you're doing with the magazine. And I know you covered one of the artists that was also showing at the museum, Meryl, a few
months ago, maybe. Yeah. The museum is incredible. If you could just talk about the museum. I didn't, honestly, I was in Goa during the second lockdown. We were stuck there and we had nothing to do. And the museum was incredible. I honestly loved it. And, if you could just talk a little bit about it, I think that would be great if we could encourage more people to go visit it as well.
Yeah. So I think it was founded by my dad, the museum. And I think the whole purpose of the museum is to take art to the masses. Now, most people I was also talking to you about this the other day, where every single art fair you go to, art biennale that you go to, you always see the same 1.5 lakh, 2 lakh people that are present everywhere. Whether it's in Delhi, Goa, Serenity Art Fair, Kochi Moses Biennale, they're all the same people that you meet. So the museum is basically to open up doors to everyone and anyone. So it's the most visited private contemporary art space in the country today. We get about 400 people, 400 to 500 people a day. And we basically narrate histories of Goa through contemporary art. And it's basically, to get people in, engage with art, and everyone understands art, as long as you give them some direction. Some people like it, some people don't. And we basically talk about histories of Goa through contemporary art. So if you're ever in Goa, please do visit. And there's nothing old there. It's not broken pots or nothing. It's all new artists creating new works based on their experience in Goa. And that's what it's about. And yeah, if you ever come, do swing by.
No, perfect. Sounds good. And we have a little museum shop. I remember there being a little cute museum shop. You can pick up a few things. It's very interesting. You can pick up art prints. I think there were little artifacts, souvenirs, all of that as well. So lovely. Thank you so much, Siddharth. This has been great, and we'll chat soon. All right.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Bye.